that was funner than the last few that I've been at. Quite a game, interesting. As good as Iowa State's defense is, obviously we knew going in, and very convincing, as good as they are. I told the team today in the locker room that today our defense was better, and that's not taking anything away from them. Obviously, their defense is really, really good, but today our defense forced turnovers, stops, put the game away in the end, and our guys were fantastic today on defense. So I couldn't be more proud of them. Fortunately, I think we made it through the game without really having anybody injured that I know of, so that's a positive for us. And it was good to see a few guys back out there. We had a couple guys that were able to get back and contribute a little bit, and that was nice. But that's a good win for us. You know, I had mentioned earlier in the week that we needed to get home. I think some of the younger guys, inexperienced guys, play better, obviously, when they're home. We needed to play at home. And the crowd was fantastic. The blackout was fantastic. The paddle people. So it was good to be back home and give ourselves a chance to go out there and compete and play. So it was a good win for our team.
I think the defense had 4 sacks in the fourth quarter. Was
Yeah.
there something different that the defense was doing late?
The guys just made plays. We had a couple calls where we were getting single blocks on 3 guys, and so gave us a chance to get somebody loose. And there was some experience there, 52, 9. Those guys are good at that. Obviously, 30's done a lot of it. And we got them in a one-dimensional style. We knew they had to throw it, so we could pin our ears back and come. And so that's, you know, the opposite of that's what happened to us offensively against their defense. They put us one-dimensional pretty much the whole game. So I was very proud of them. And it gets to that point where we need 1 sack in the end. Now, the last play, I lost a little bit of the vision, but I thought we had him, and he got out, and we got him again. But it was really good by those guys.
Mike, as good as the defense was playing, when Spencer came in, it seemed to infuse them even more. It obviously infused the offense, but it seemed to infuse the defense as well.
Well, it does. I mean, you know, Spencer's played 50 games here, and you have leaders who and then I think sometimes, you know, it's funny you bring it up. I think sometimes when they know there's a guy that's playing that's not 100%, they're like, okay, I'll fight for that guy. It's just human nature. And then, you know, when we brought him in, I don't know, start of the fourth. When was it? I can't remember.
Into the third.
And then, you know, we just said, hey, we're going to throw it every down. We're just going to throw it. I mean, we couldn't run the ball. So we just said we're just going to, from that point forward, we just felt like we were going to throw it every down.
Did he let you know that he was able to play? Did you go to him and say you're in regardless? I mean, what was the process like of putting him in?
Just what you said to start with. We knew that he was available, but we would, you know, have preferred to not put him out there for an extended period of time.
And what was the reasoning for bringing him in on that short yardage situation earlier in the game?
Oh, that was a concept they had early in the week that they liked. Didn't work out too well.
Has he practiced at all, Mike, the last?
Not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk a lot about personnel decisions and things like that and injuries, but to be fair to you guys, I mean, he's been in the same boat for about 5 weeks.
Mike, the way he came in, and especially that first possession, he's on the field. I mean, not having practiced much, not having played, coming in cold. How impressed were you just by his abilities, presence, just all the plays?
I was impressed, but just remember now, he's been doing this 5 years. And one thing I said early in the year, you guys, I said, now he can do this blindfolded. And with our offense, like he can break away and go coach it. He knows it like the back of his hand. So offense and defensive staffs put together game plans every Saturday. And I've been a part of this as an assistant and also a head coach. And sometimes it didn't work. The plan we had wasn't very good for what we thought. Could be based on a variety of things. So when he comes in, then you can just call anything. We can go back and dial plays up from a month ago or 2 years ago, and they'll make a difference because he doesn't need to work on them because he's understands the system.
Mike, I know you said you don't want to talk about the specifics of it, but I know he tweeted about his grandfather died earlier in this week. I assume he was probably away from the team at some point for that. Like, how much was he around this week at all? And
Yeah, he was gone most of the week with his, when they had the loss in his family, and so he came back and he was gone. And I mean, you know, we're all different when we lose people. You don't know how people are going to react. And Spencer's awesome, but he wasn't here very much this week.
I mean, there's obviously a chance that, you know, with all that going on, he could have kind of been on cruise control this week. But obviously, I mean, he seemed dialed in once he
Yeah,
got out.
Spencer's never on cruise control. His competitive nature and willingness to fight is always pedal to the metal.
He's obviously built a great legend here, all the wins, you know, obviously what the season last year. But how does tonight build on that legend for him?
Well, this is a really good win for us because, as we all know, we needed a win. And we needed things to fall into place for us. We felt like that Iowa State was playing much better and the best football they've played just recently. So we knew that we would have our hands full. And, you know, for him to come in and make a few plays and us to find a way to score a touchdown was really important. I mean, we all know. I mean, everybody can go eat with their family tonight and enjoy the evening, and it makes things better. So Sundays, as I tell you guys, aren't very fun when we end up on the short side of the scoreboard. So now Sundays will be a little bit funner for everybody. I mean, the offensive coaches will be sulking because most of what we had didn't work very good, and they'll feel sorry for themselves, but they're going to feel a lot better than they did than if we wouldn't have stopped them in the end. And that's just life. That's just the way it is. We've been on both sides of that.
What did you see defensively? I know we talked Monday, the tackling was an issue, but there seemed to be a sense of pride and a sense of urgency today from them. What did you see in the buildup of this week heading into this game that really changed that?
The interesting thing, I could tell you, and you guys wouldn't believe it. You'd say it was coach's talk, so I'm not going to tell you. I'm just joking. The effort and enthusiasm in practice this week was as good as it was if we were 8-0. And I told the staff that, guys, you worry sometimes about the morale of the team. It's human nature, right? Everybody starts feeling sorry for themselves. Coaches are the worst. Coaches feel sorry for themselves. Players feel sorry for themselves. Okay, how are we going to get motivated to practice well to play next week? And that wasn't an issue. And it wasn't anything, I don't know who, I certainly didn't say anything. I mean, I'm not a big speech guy. But their effort and enthusiasm in practice was fabulous this week. Now, we didn't tackle very well in the first quarter. I'm sure you saw that. We had our head down. Number 5 got his head down twice. 0 is off balance and reaching. And then 5, I was just on the way to grab 5 and get on him a little bit about tackling, and then he smacks the guy and knocked the ball away. I think that was him, right? Yeah. So I said, well, I'll let him go. Forget it. I ain't going to say anything to him now. But when he learns to stand up and hit face-to-face, he's going to be really good. But we missed 3 to 4 tackles in the first quarter. That was frustrating to me because we would have been off the field. But from that point on, we tackled really good.
What do you think changed?
I don't know. If I knew, I'd fix it right away. The only thing I know to do is to go back and continue to work drills and practice tackling and keeping your head up, not leaving your feet, and wrapping. Well, I do know this. There's twice we bounced off of him. Bouncing's not good. We need to wrap guys up. So we just got to continue to do the same things. We got to push and work on it, but you can't overdo it. You know, we're way into the season, so we got to be careful about being too physical in practice.
You mentioned Kendall making the fumble and missed tackles. You said you're going to have to live with some good and bad with him, but there was a lot more good today.
I think
Right?
so. Yeah, I would say so. And that's just a young player. That's just young kids are that way. They learn by making mistakes. And Kendall has now played. Gosh, what that was game number 10 for us. He could be over 300 snaps now, 400 snaps. He's going to be close to that. So he's starting to get seasoned a little bit, and should get a little bit better and better now based on experience.
Coach Coach, kind of sticking with the defense, Jabbar Muhammad had a really good game. How have you seen him really develop just into a leader and kind of a glue guy for the secondary?
So we played him at one spot today. Remember we talked about we were playing him some as a nickel safety, playing him at corner, and somewhat unjustified probably. But when it was going on, I didn't stop it because our defense staff felt like it needed to happen based on what we had personnel available and or the personnel that was actually practicing to get ready for the games. So it's a rat race in a bad way. This week, we locked him in at one position, and I think it helped him.
Some of those Glenn Spencer defenses kind of survived off turnovers. Did you know the turnovers were going to come today, or is that just kind of what ended up happening?
Yeah, him and Bill Young, the late, our good friend Bill Young's good man, relied on that. And that wasn't the plan, but it worked out well for us to get, one ball was a tip interception, and then Seven made a great play on a curl route. Really, really hard to defend and intercept that pass, made a great play. And then we got, obviously, Kendall smacked the guy on the fumble. So the turnovers that we were able to get allowed our defense, even as good as their defense is and was, to play better today.
You didn't score a lot off those turnovers, but did you sense it infusing the defense and sort of encouraging them?
You know what's interesting is they didn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, because believe it or not, I actually do something during the game. Most people think I don't, but I'm trying to compute things in my brain, and we're getting turnovers and we're not scoring. And I'm thinking, this is not fun. And then we turned it over and they didn't score, so I felt a little better about it. But the thing it does, Jenny, is it gets you off the field. We need off the field. The last few weeks, we spent the entire game on the field on defense, because offense was struggling and defense was struggling, which is a really bad combination.
Mike, what's your message to Gunner a little bit, after today?
Gunner's mistake was his last interception. Other than that, Gunner played pretty good. Now, statistically, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's going to look at it and think this was not good. But and I joked with him later in the week when we knew he was going to play. I said, well, the good news is you get to go out there and play and have some fun. The bad news is you're playing a team that's top 10 in the defense in the college football. You picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue. Now, you guys are too young. I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Somebody call the movie out.
Airplane.
Got it. Picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue, Gunner. But Gunner competed. His poise was good. There's a couple times I wish he could have made a guy or two miss, but they tackle good. But the last interception, what he needs to know is this: it's okay to not make a play. And at that position, when you're young, and I'm not making this comparison for any reason other than Spencer used to do that when he's a freshman. Remember, he thought he always had to make a play. It's okay when it's 3rd and 26 or whatever to throw it away and we punt. And so that would be the message. But competitiveness, poise, he was through his reads. I think I heard, other than the last one time that he should have been on the other side. Other than that, he was pretty good.
Did you know that interception, he was past the line of scrimmage?
I know. I was hoping they called it. But either way, they could have declined it. So they got together a little bit, and I don't know what the rule is, but I think they were aware of it, but they would have just declined it.
Did you plan to run him as much as he did Gunner?
What's that?
Do you like Gunner in that role where he kind of runs around a little bit? Did you plan to run him?
Gunner needs to run. Guys that, I was going to say for a second there, I'm going to make sure you're both here. You're both here, okay. In my opinion, to play quarterback at this level nowadays, you have to be able to move around and run a little bit. Very difficult to protect against defensive linemen who are really active, and you have to be able to run. So Spencer does it right, makes a living doing it. Gunner will be able to run and move around well enough to benefit himself, and Rangel can do the same. And they need to be able to do it. I wish I could say that you could play old school quarterback and just sit back and never do that. I'm not sure that offensively you can function without being able to do that. And so they know it. Gunner knows it, he's got to run. Rangel knows it, and obviously Spencer knows it. We've got to be able to run to make our offense flow just enough. Now, I don't want them taking hits, but they still have to be able to run and understand how to run effectively.
Mike, you were 1 for 14 on third downs. Was that from being on too many third and longs, or was that just poor execution?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say legitimately is because we're, have a pretty good relationship here. They're good on defense, and they squeeze you, and they put you in situations, and they're playing with a group. This is a really good group, in my opinion, they're playing with on defense where they all get it, and they play as one. Their read pass key guys, their alley defenders and their safeties have really good eyes this year, which is bad for offenses. And they pattern read good, they jump guys, and they squeeze you and put you in a difficult situation. They're good at what they do, and this group they're using right now. And then 9 and 3, the defensive linemen, 9 and 3, have added a dimension to them where they're able to get some pressure, and they're really good slant up the field guys in running game. We got hit behind the line, 4 or 5 times today? And those guys are really good at stepping and getting vertical and slanting and moving. And they're good at what they do. I mean, I wish I could say anything. I'm going to give them credit. They're good at what they do. But that's not a good plan for success on third downs. That's a long answer I agree.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.